Now, when I was speaking to NAR last week, word on the street is you all think the down payment assistance is negative. I don't know why you think it's negative. What are some sources of money to the real estate transaction to ensure that you can be compensated? We're looking at gift bonds. We're looking at EAH programs where essentially you can create loyalty inside of a company. There are too many ways for you to be compensated for providing value. Too many legal, ethical ways. The gift is yours. The gift is yours. Needed to come over here today for yet another reason, because we are focused on the solution, not on the problem. You all hear me say it all the time. COSNOP or COS, right? NOP. Concentrate on the solution, not on the problem. And I want you all to concentrate just on take one solution per day to focus on it. And the solution today is going to be about gift funds. So I made a post last week. The fact that I have received $100,000 in gift funds in my life from 3 donors. Okay. Those gift funds are to be used inside of the real estate transaction. And if I like the job in which my agent is doing for me, said gift funds are used to offset the cost of the real estate transaction. And so let me give you my 3 examples. I was 24 years old when I purchased my first building, 3-flat with a garden apartment. My grandfather, who was infamous for keeping cash on hand, threw a brown paper bag at me with $10,000 in it and told me to go deposit it into the bank because my funds needed to be sourced and seasoned. I used those $10,000 to essentially buy a building from him at a 50% loan to value, leveraging the IDA program. My interest rate was 8.375, but I did not care because I was able to rent out 2 units and the garden apartment. I was house hacking. That's what you call it now. That is not what we called it back in 1990. $10,000. The second gift I received was $75,000 from an uncle. I'm going to let him remain nameless. He's deceased now. But he gave me and my cousin $75,000 for us to start a purchase rehab company. We leveraged those funds in order to acquire 7 properties, rehab them, and put them back on the market. At the time, we were using Smith Rothschild and we were using Shore Bank. Anybody who ever used Smith Rothschild know that those interest rates, well, I was going to use something nasty. I'm not going to say it. It was high, right? But we didn't care because our first transaction, we grossed $70,000 in 90 days on a purchase rehab transaction. I think you kind of know where I'm going with this. So now today, real estate agents, we have to get BBA signed, buyer broker agreement. I would think that if you're going to get one signed, you would also want to include an offer of compensation to the buyer agent, especially when they provide value. The third that I received gift funds was $15,000 from my mother-in-law to buy this house. This house that is now worth 5 times more than what I bought it for. And if we were to look at the loan to value, it'd be at about 20%. Actually, when we came back in 12 months of owning this home, we did a rate and term refinance at a 62% loan to value. And so $100,000 from 3 donors in order to offset my cost to be able to, that could offset a buyer broker agreement. Right now, all I'm thinking about is where are the sources of funds. Now, I could partner my gift with an EAH, an employer assisted housing program. How many of you have approached any director of human resource, any company, any business to see if they want to contribute to the purchase of homes on behalf of their employees. The reason is studies have shown that employees who own homes make better employees, but it actually reduces the training cost of the organization. So we got gifts. We have EAH, the Employer Assisted Housing Program. There are roughly 17 instructors in the country. Ebony Killian is one out of the state of Georgia. You have Tamika Bryan. I think she's down in Florida, but definitely out of the Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City area, would be another instructor. I think it's 17 of them. Okay. So we're looking at how we can leverage these monies since everybody act like it's no money. It's a plethora of money out here. And the third thing is going to be contingent upon down payment assistance programs, looking at Community Reinvestment Act funds that are available in your local location. But here's what hit me, and I'm going to just call out 3 real estate agents who have all successfully earned 6 figures in 12 months. The first one, $142,000 in gross closed income, first 12 months selling real estate, part Nicole Wheatley. She focuses on down payment assistance programs, working with municipal programs. The second one, Cassandra Sneed. First, her second 12 months in real estate, got to her first $1 million month, did over 6 figures in income. Guess what? She was also focused on the same thing. The third one, Skylar Lemons, 6 figures in 6 months, focused on down payment assistance programs. Now, when I was speaking to NAR last week, word on the street is you all think the down payment assistance is negative. I don't know why you think it's negative, especially when, what's my boy name? Matt Laracy said today that you're going to see a slump November, I believe, and December in luxury real estate sales. Might want to look at a lower price point. Might want to identify buyers under the max income that can still afford low $300,000 price points so that you'll be able to eat, okay? So that you'll be able to pay your mortgage, so that you'll be able to pay your car note, so that you can buy that great turkey and Christmas presents and all things that you want. But we have to get focused. So if you, and this shouldn't even be an if now, according to the Department of Justice, you should have a buyer-broker agreement signed. I'm saying I don't see why you would have one signed if it doesn't come with an offer of compensation. What are some sources of money to the real estate transaction to ensure that you can be compensated? We're looking at gift funds. We're looking at EAH programs where essentially you can create loyalty inside of a company where you are doing, and this is what we've done in the past. I took the EAH course with the National Association of Realtors well over a decade ago. It was downtown at the Intercontinental Hotel, across the street from the NAR building. And within probably 2 weeks of taking that program, Red Gold, one of the largest tomato companies in the country, had reached out because their facility, didn't know this at the time, is in rural Indiana. They wanted to set up an EAH program because they wanted to attract the best talent to rural Indiana. So now I want you to think about, what new companies are coming to your city. How do you strategically reach out to the Director of Human Resources so that you can come to these organizations and facilitate EAH programs on or in their office, their facility? Now, when you're going in there, we want to talk about gifts. We already know that the employer can give a forgivable grant, generally no more than $10,000. Let me state this. Most of them are no more than $10,000. They can be given in the form of a forgivable grant, 3 to 5 years, which is how most companies set it up. Then, if I go in to that company, for me to get that appointment with the Director of Human Resources, I'm going to go over to the down payment resource or go reach out to your boy, Skylar Lemons, the down payment grant team, to identify what grants can you layer for their employees. So we want to look at family members and friends. We want to look at establishing EAH programs, and we want to identify any grant programs that are available, contingent upon the lender and their overlays. That will dictate how much skin in the game that they want from that buyer. Sometimes it's $1,000, sometimes it's 3%. So the lender, contingent upon their overlays, will dictate the amount that they want that person to have in that transaction. There are too many ways for you to be compensated for providing value. Too many legal, ethical ways for you to be compensated. So I wanted to come over here to justify. And let me be clear. I ask for what I need. I don't like asking, but I ask for what it is that I need. And in two of those situations of the gift funds, the only person we ever asked was my mother-in-law. My grandfather, I didn't ask him, but I can remember him sitting over in his warehouse just as clear as day, reached down into the file cabinet drawer, took it and threw it dead across the road. My uncle, my cousin approached me and he brought the money to the transaction. I brought the knowledge, he brought the money to the transaction. And then my mother-in-law, we asked her, but the funds were really my husband's inheritance. And so just some ways, let me be clear. I have set aside Skylar's gift funds. Skylar has a gift for his first building. I believe to whom much is given, much is expected. And so as soon as he brings me that deal, his money is sitting there. So I know that a lot of people don't have it, but I know that there are some parents who are willing to make a sacrifice because I want you to be clear. We don't want you grown butts living in our house, especially when you come in with your kids and your pets. I just want that out there for you, okay? And so you don't know unless you ask. But now is the time to ask because real estate, and for those of us who are parents or grandparents, we understand the value of real estate. We might have to help these kids and grandkids get on up out of here and go on and do their own thing. So think of that as a potential source. And when you're doing your buyer consultation, you need to ask them what organization you work for. I want you to keep in mind, I'm thinking of the University of Chicago right now that provides EAH. A lot of municipalities provide EAH. So it might already be established at the organization in which they work for, but are you asking in your buyer consultation? So in your buyer consultation, I want you to add 3 additional questions. Are there any potential sources of gift funds? Does your employer provide an employer assisted housing program? And let me do some research to see, are there any down payment assistance programs in the area in which you are looking to buy? Because now you just justified why they should pay you. If you helping, you going to find your own money to put people into real estate, because that's where we are today. But you must demonstrate value if you want to be compensated. I'm going to sum this up. And so I see a post the other day, and I shared it. And it was about buyer agents who do not show up for their scheduled buyer appointment. Let me be very clear. As the person who has sold a lot of real estate, if you were coming to me to negotiate seller to buyer compensation to offset a buyer agency agreement, and the buyer agent didn't show up, and I need to show my own house after they scheduled the appointment and said that they would be present, I likely am not going to want to take my money to offset the buyer's closing costs. Just want you to think about this. So for every buyer agent who historically in the past thought that that was cute, I want you to know it's never been cute. I've never seen a listing agent or a seller that thought that it was acceptable. Now is the time you have to think about how you plan to be paid. And if you are that agent, you are reducing the likelihood to successfully negotiate said funds. When you schedule an appointment, you need to go over to Waze, you need to go over to Google Maps, and you need to time yourself effectively as a buyer agent in order to be present for your buyer client. Show an appointment. So if you don't know what the tools are that you can plan your day in advance so that you can be there on time, once again, it is Google Maps and Waze. It is not acceptable for you to show up late ever again in the future because there is no visible offer of compensation. See, we had to pay you in the past, right? Because we had put that compensation out there. You ain't got it right now, boo. And it's also another reason why potentially a lot of companies aren't offering broker-to-broker compensation because they want to see how you're going to perform first. Just think about that for one hot second. All right, guys, I just wanted to come over here. We're going to keep our lessons small. Yep, sell a bunch of real estate, whether it's through me or through these agents we got, okay? But it's selling. And we're going to concentrate on solutions and not on a problem. I want you to make it a absolutely fabulous week.